That is a Wolves team that I will sign up to watch every single night. I love that game. And we just lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder at home by 7. And I have not made one of these videos where I have been happy after a loss. In fact, I've been upset after most of our wins. And we just broke our 6-game winning streak against the Thunder, which is always electric, those games that we play against them, pun somewhat intended. And they do really always bring out the best in us. And we had no Karl Anthony Towns, no Taurean Prince to start the game. Gobert gets ejected after 9 minutes. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But you saw Wolves small ball that was extremely reminiscent of last year, and it was lovely. Although in this game in particular, size probably would have helped us a ton, because the Thunder have the worst defensive rebounding in the NBA. And to start that game, Gobert was feasting on the O boards. He got a lot of good ones. And Naz Reid would do the same later, as he has a career high of 17 rebounds tonight. That away, Naz. That away, baby. And so if we did have more size, we probably would have really punished them tonight. But that was not the case, because 3 minutes into the second quarter, when Naz already has 2 fouls and he's really our only other big that was going to get in tonight, Gobert intentionally trips Kendrick Williams, who's a really good player, by the way, and he gets ejected for that. Kendrick Williams also gets a penalty. And they were erring on the side of screwing over Minnesota any chance they could get tonight, which was really tough. It would have been a really good game if it was the Wolves versus the Thunder. It would have been super close, kind of a toss-up, but it was Wolves versus the Thunder in the Insaki rhymes tonight. They called, let me double check this, 8 penalties, 1 flagrant foul, and had 2 objections. Love when they just insert themselves into the game and just don't even try to hide their biases as well. But this entire game, the Wolves showed tremendous energy and effort all the way through. It was like watching a completely different team than we have all year. They just weren't really knocking down shots. There were so many open looks that the Wolves were missing. D'Lo's jumper was rough all night. And just couldn't finish around the rim to start the game. But they just played so hard that they just kept it close all the way through. And Jordan McLaughlin checks into the game. I didn't know he was going to play. I start fist pumping. I was so hyped. First play he's in there, he just blows by his defender, goes full speed, gets the ball in the backcourt originally, gets a wide open 3 for Anthony Edwards. Ant drills it. Everyone's hyped up. Really brought the energy. Anytime Ant does something, the building's ready to explode. We love this man. He needs to be the center of our team. There's so much potential in him, and he's starting to really bring it defensively lately, getting so many steals that turn into fast breaks for him. And good luck to whoever's trying to stop this man in transition. Also, what was really crazy after that Gobert ejection was, it's kind of like the longest yard scene where the warden is like, I want you to inflict as much pain as humanly possible. That's what the Thunder got to do to Naz Reid. There was a play where he got his dreads pulled back, so his head was like jerked back. They pulled his hair, didn't call that. Then he gets clotheslined by Pokuševski on a rebound, didn't call that. Then he gets a knee to his thigh and hip and also knocks knees with Kyle Anderson. That's a foul call on, I think, Kyle Anderson. He crumbles to the floor and then has to sub out, and he would just continue to get beat up throughout that game. And none of it was called in his favor. Like, they didn't care. They're like, oh, let's just let the Thunder get even. That's fine. And I've noticed that all my favorite players are the Sucks' least favorite players. Because, like, Jaden McDaniels, Jalen Noel, Anthony Edwards, they always get shit on. Naz Reid, to a lesser extent. They see so much contact on their drives and just get the least amount of benefit on the defensive end. It's just really tough. It was also tough that Naz had to leave, too. The Thunder just started to get layups at will when that was happening, and he protected the rim very well. He had 4 blocks again tonight after having 5 last game, and that's 9 blocks in 2 games. Just for reference, Gobert has had 2 games with 3 blocks this year. Every single one being less than that, the other ones. So Naz Reid has had 2 bigger block games the last 2 games than Gobert's had all season. Just a little reference there. Wolves trail by 6 at half, and they have 13 turnovers, which is a big problem. However, they also caused 11 for the Thunder, who are normally a team that takes care of the ball very well. However, the Wolves have really ramped up their defensive intensity and are starting to turn people over again, which was kind of their calling card defensively last year, was to force turnovers and try to capitalize on them. And this is what they would do in the third quarter as well. Unfortunately, they wouldn't have Jane McDaniels to help them do that because he picks up his 4th foul on the first possession of the second half. You just can't have it. He also picks up a Pakilty as this happens. Like I said, Ant was getting a lot of steals, but also D'Angelo Russell was making so many multiple efforts to try to get turnovers, steals, and just keeping the pressure up. There was one possession, I think it was on Giddey. He was dolphin diving multiple times in one play to try to force that ball out. I don't think he got credited with the steal because I think someone else ended up picking it up, but he forced that turnover, and he has shown a lot of effort the last couple games and is kind of returning to the D'Angelo Russell that I loved last year, where it's like even when he's not shooting well, he really brings it. And how he is scoring tonight with his jumper not being super great for a lot of the game, he has such a quick release on a lot of his layups that they're kind of in between floaters and layups that he gets them off so fast that you don't expect him to release it at that time, gets those finishes. He scored a lot like that tonight. It was wonderful. Also, a quick shout out to Wendell Moore, who looks like he's just a smart player that really brings energy, and I've liked him in these first 2 games, actually. I wasn't expecting that to be something we'd realize here. I also want to call out a lineup that we saw tonight that I was thinking of like a variation of it. I'm like, this is possible and this could be amazing to see. And we almost got it exactly tonight. D'Angelo Russell, Jordan McLaughlin, Kyle Anderson, Jalen Noel, Austin Rivers was out there. The playmaking on that team is incredible. McLaughlin, D'Lo, Anderson, like they can be the main distributor on any team. They are so good with that. And as I've mentioned, D'Lo and J-Mac's chemistry is immaculate. Then you have an ultimate bucket getter in Jalen Noel, who can also still make the right pass. Austin Rivers is out there. He tried a lot on defense today, so that was good. But those 3 that I mentioned of J-Mac, D'Lo, Anderson playing together is a very interesting thing when you have so many people that just can always make the perfect pass. Anderson also had 4 blocks tonight, another great presence protecting the rim. However, also 4 turnovers, which is rough, as it was with the entire team. I was also really happy to see a little bit more faith in Jalen Noel out of Chris Finch tonight. He did not start the game well, but still ended up having a good scoring night and produced a lot more in that second half. Also, I realized the best player comp for Jalen Noel in the NBA, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is amazing. And this Thunder team deserves to be respected. Like, they're a good team. Basically, everyone that comes off their bench is really smart, plays hard, and will probably be good NBA players, especially the 2 Williams that they have. Very good. But Noel is kind of like SGA light, I feel like. Super good at driving, good finisher, very good mid-range. They're about the same size, great footwork, not great three-point shooters. Basically the same, except SGA is a lot more polished, of course. But this game is neck and neck most of the way through. I think it's about halfway through the 4th. The Thunder start to make some clearance, go on a run, and they're up by maybe 7 or 8. Anthony Edwards is in the fast break, makes a move on Jalen Williams, I think it was, who tries to take a charge, falls back on his own while moving, and it's a pretty clear block, but they call it a charge. It gets challenged, maintained the charge, which was wild, and they pee up Anthony Edwards in the process, which was absurd. And then the Wolves seemed to be kind of in their own heads at that time, or maybe had the Insucki rhymes in their head more accurately, and they kind of fall back a little bit more and just couldn't fully recover after that. But on the side of the Wolves, I loved the way they played tonight. I loved the energy they brought. It was fabulous to watch. The small ball was refreshing and fun. I just wish we had an entire season's worth of evidence that small ball was the optimal usage for these players and this coaching staff.